Hey guys, it's Kenna. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are learning a little bit about semi-hydro or semi-hydroponics. You can also call it soilless media. So we're steering away from regular soil because I have found that I have a lot of pests. Okay, that is a terrible thing to say. I don't have a lot of pests. I've had like the occasional mealies, never thrips, thank goodness, and one time spider mites right after I brought something home. So let me just backtrack and say I actually mean I have a lot of what are they called? Oh my gosh, my mind just blanked. Fungus gnats, that's the word. So I have a lot of fungus gnats in my plants and I am tired of it. So I have decided to start switching most of my plants to LECA. If you don't know what LECA is, it stands for lightweight clay aggregate. And it looks like this. Basically, it's a bunch of clay balls that have been heated to the point where they puff up and then they're porous on the inside and can wick water up, which it's in this little pot of water, and it wicks it up to the roots, and the roots can take as much as they need. And they also get really good aeration, and you can control how much nutrients they're absorbing through hydroponic nutrients. So that's kind of what I want to show you guys today, because there's not so much information out there. I would really love to have a database of all things LECA, but it's not out there. I think it's just so new to the houseplant world that it's either only for vegetables or outdoor gardening, and there's not enough information for houseplants. So that's kind of what I wanted to do today. This segment is called Let's Learn LECA. So I'm going to show you two of the things that I do. One is regular watering for all my other plants with a little bit of Super Thrive. You can also use Newt. These are not ads in any way. I really like this stuff. It's called Super Thrive. I bought it at Walmart for, oh shoot, it was either 11 or 16. I remember it not being 10 and not being 15. Does that make sense? I don't know. I'm somebody who has like a picture memory and I don't actually remember dates or numbers. It's weird. Okay, anyway. So I use regular filtered water with balanced pH to top off my my LECA planted plants. So like this Hoya Wayettii, who is actually not taken to the LECA yet. I have decided to put them in LECA to get roots, or to begin rooting. And I don't know if it's taken yet. They're looking a little bit taco-like, so I think it's time to try to put it in a humidity box to get it to root better. But something like this guy here has really taken to the LECA. And I mean girl, this is a princess, okay? This is my Crimson Princess. She's really taken to the LECA and absolutely loves it and has been thriving. So this one, I'm going to continue to grow in this one. Not every plant likes LECA, but I've noticed that I take care of my plants better if I can see the roots, I can see how much water they're absorbing, and I can see when they need watered, so I'm not letting them starve and then bring them back to life and then starve and bring them back to life, if you know what I mean. Anyway, and then also I want to show you guys how to do these nutrient solutions. So these are from General Hydroponics. It's a 3-step solution kit, and I also have this pH balancing kit. This is not a plug for this company. I just really enjoy their stuff. I know that Fox Farm also sells stuff, but I haven't tried it, so I'm not going to vouch for it. So these will go in this container. My Super Thrive will go in this container, and then I will test both of them with the pH after they have all their nutrients in it. So the reason you don't want to test the pH first is because you don't want to have balanced pH and then add your stuff and then it ends up too acidic or too basic or whatever. So we're going to go through the process that I go through. And you guys can see kind of what I do with a moss pole in LECA. You can see what I do with just plain LECA, with my cuttings in LECA, things like that. So let's start with this one first. So the directions on this container, or on these, are pretty easy to follow on the back, but we're going to start with this dark one first, because it says always add Flora Micro to fresh water and stir well, then add the Flora Grow and Flora Bloom. So we're going to do, I believe it is general purpose, mild vegetative. We're going to do 1 teaspoon per gallon. So we're doing 2 teaspoons for this container specifically. So it says shake well. We're gonna do that first. And this one, just checking to make sure I don't have the wrong one. Flora Micro is first. I think that's what it said. Yes, correct me if I'm wrong. Flora Micro, then the other 2. And it doesn't matter what order you do the other 2 in. Just this one goes first, because what will happen is you can create some sort of nutrient lockout, meaning your nutrients will kind of balance each other out, or what is the word? I can't think of the word. That's my baby brain again. It is ever present. I just got it all over my pants. So I suggest using some sort of syringe to get these out, but I don't have one. Basically what you want to do is fill up the container, or use your correct amount of Flora Micro, then shake it so that it's well dissolved, so that there's no nutrient lockout when you are adding in the other ones. So next we're gonna do this one here. No, I didn't shake it. I'm just gonna do this one before I forget. Okay. I'm a little bit better with my left hand. Do you ever do that? Like, I'm ambidextrous, but do you ever find yourself like, I don't know, favoring one hand for one activity and the other hand for a different activity? Do you know what I'm saying? Maybe that's just me. I don't know. Because like when I played sports in high school, I would bat left-handed, but I would start my dives with my right foot. I was on the swim and dive team, by the way. Comment if you are a fellow diver. Swim and dive was the bomb. Okay. So I'm not sure if this stuff stains clothes. I'm wearing black pants. And also I don't know if it burns skin. We'll know in just a few minutes if my thigh is tingling and burning. Okay, so now that we've gotten that in there, I'm going to put my lid on. This is kind of a long process, which is why I do so much all at once. It would be a pain to have to do this once, fill all my plants, and then do it again, if you know what I'm saying. I keep saying if you know what I'm saying. Comment what the thing is that you say over and over again. I say like, so, if you know what I mean. A little bit. I say that a lot. Do you guys know what you say all the time? I'm curious. Okay, so now we're gonna test the pH with this one. So I have this test tube kit that came with this pH testing kit. It came with the balancers and a pipette and the test indicator, as well as a little vial to put your stuff in. So we're gonna fill this about halfway with this nutrient water. It's close to halfway. And we're gonna do 3 to 5 drops of the indicator. Taking me back to those lifeguard days, testing the chlorine in the pool. Hey, let me know if you guys were a lifeguard at some point or are a lifeguard. Okay, looks like right now we're at about a 7, maybe between 6.5 and 7. You want it to be this orange color right here, which is a 5. That is neutral on the pH scale. So I have a bowl here that I'm dumping all of my dirty water into. You don't want to put this back in just because it has that chemical in it that tests the pH. So now we're gonna try again. Fill it up halfway. Oh, what am I saying? We gotta put pH down because we're too high. Well, yes. The higher numbers are more acidic. Yes? Yes. Oh my. I learned this in middle school and somehow I can't remember it. Okay, so I have learned the correct amount for my system. It may be different for your container, your whatever, but I suggest, so we're just gonna do it for the sake of this video. I'm gonna show you guys half a pipette full. We're gonna show how slow the process is for finding the right pH. I will put a little bit of this in, put the lid on, and not shake, but just kind of like rotate the container. I'm getting water everywhere. Okay, and then we're gonna add a little bit to our little vial. There she is. And then 3 to 5 drops of this. I would suggest getting a bigger bottle of this because you do end up using a lot of it, especially if you're doing slow tests like I am. Once you get the hang of it and know how much you need to put in your container almost every time, because you know your tap water, you know how much nutrients you're putting in, you can kind of get the hang of it and have to use this a lot less. Meaning you don't have to test it so many times. Okay, so it looks green to me, which means, did we go pH up? No, we went pH down. Wow, I'm a mess today. Okay, so this is kind of where we're at. All right. We're gonna add another half of a pipette, just so that you guys can really see the slow process. Or, you know, for me, I've noticed maybe a whole pipette is ideal. And then I test again, then again, then again. All right. Okay, there's water everywhere, by the way. Okay, let's test again. Let's dump this out. And ideally you should be rinsing this out, which might be messing with the readings. Okay, half of a container, 3 to 5 drops. I choose 3 because I don't want to waste it. And you really only need 3. They say 3 to 5, just in case you accidentally do a couple extra. And also, a drop is actually a measurement. You want to have the container completely up and down like this, not like this, because there is a specific amount that comes out with a drop when it's directly right side or downside. You know what I'm saying? Okay, this one looks like 6.5. Okay, so now that we know how slowly it's changing it, I'm gonna do a full pipette. I really do suggest though that you go a lot like this slow on your first time. Every time after that might be different. So we may end up having to use some pH down if I mess this up, which is okay. I've only used pH up. I've only used pH up once because I used too much pH down. For the most part, tap water or filtered water through the tap, like I have a pure PU. Okay, I did it again, and then I ended up just getting my husband's phone. I just did not want to deal with it, so. And also I'm covered in water. So I off screen just went ahead and did the nutrients in both of them and the pH balancing. I'm afraid that this one's also going to shut down on me. So I discovered that for 2 gallons for me of the water that has the Flora Grow, Flora Micro, and Flora Bloom, that one needs 3 pipettes full of the pH down. And this one right here that just has the Super Thrive needed 2 pipettes of pH down. I think that my filter needs replaced in my pure filter. I think I was talking about that before it shut down. My pure filter I just got on Amazon. It's the PUR filter. It's just a sink attachment, and it I think does like 300 gallons or 3 months worth of water. That went in about 3 weeks for me because I use so much water. I drink like a gallon a day, and so does my husband, and we've been having people live with us that also drink a gallon of water a day. But anyway, and then also all my plants. So I've been using filtered water because they really don't like chlorine. There are some like pothos, they don't mind, but when it comes to like fiddle leaf fig or marantas or alocasias, they really don't like all of those chemicals and minerals in the water. So I will use filtered water for that reason. But anyway, so now I've got my filtered water with the nutrients and the pH has been balanced. I'm going to show you guys kind of what I do with the things that I have in LECA. So right here I have on a moss pole a Monstera siltepecana. This guy has really taken to LECA. I got him when he was about this tall, and he's grown this much since I got him and put him on this pole. This actually will stay moist for me because I have it in LECA, and it doesn't mold because it only absorbs what it needs to and also has enough aeration around it that it can dry out. The LECA is not sopping wet because it leaches up water, and the roots can take as much as they need. As soon as the clay balls dry out, it replaces that water just over and over again, and it's at a steady rate. And same goes for the moss pole. When it starts drying out, or when the leca that's touching it starts drying out, it'll leach up as much as it needs. And what's really, really cool is I can see right here how much water it's using and how quickly I need to replace it. So that's one of the reasons why I really love leca. And I also don't like leca in opaque containers. I have to have clear because I will forget to water it. There was one plant, I can't remember what it was. Oh, this guy. This guy's looking really sad because I had him in a dry container. He was just sitting there drying out and I felt really bad, but it's okay. We've got some new growth in there, so that's good. This one, oh, by the way, this one is called a Pilea peperomoides. So that one came to me as like 3 leaves, and I'm really proud of that one. Anyway, this one is in a closed container. This one and most of my other ones are in just a nursery pot that has holes in the bottom. I'd show you, but I might tip this over. I'll show you a different one. So, oh, here we go. Like this Philodendron hastatum, or hastatum. I don't know how to say these names. I make these up as I go. But Philodendron silver sword is the common name. If you look at the bottom, there's holes in it, and it can leach up water through those holes. So here are some of the things that I do when I'm refilling the water that's in them. First of all, like there's plants like this that already still have water in it. This is in a glass jar with no drainage. I will fill it up with water from the sink or with filtered water from the sink, and then I dump it out. I'll dump it out like this with clean hands. Always clean hands. This is my poor little Alocasia zebrina. It's been through hell and back, and it has finally sprouted this brand new leaf. Oh, I'm so happy, but look at that. It's so cute, isn't it? Maybe a little background for it. My paper white canvas. I was always teased about that. I can't tan. I wish I could. Anyway, so I pour out the water, and then I'll fill it up with more water and pour it out again. With alocasias, I do use filtered water when I do that, and I know that it's wasteful. I will actually pour it into a container such as this, and I'll use it to water my plants that are like pothos, that are in soil, that are all around my house. So for this one, I will use filtered water, rinse it through so that the pebbles and pebbles or leca, whatever you want to call it, get cleaned off, and these mineral deposits kind of get rinsed off a little bit. So I'm gonna go do that in the sink. I don't feel like moving my setup, so maybe I'll just bring a pitcher of water and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. Another thing that I realized is that no, this is not balanced pH water. This is just straight from the sink, but I don't mind right now because this isn't water that is feeding my plant. It is water that's just rinsing the leca. So I'm filling it up, and then what I do, this is probably silly, just shake it a little, let the balls kind of have a little bit of friction against each other and clean things off. What I should be doing though, because this is a new plant in leca, is taking it out, observing the roots, checking to see if there's any dead ones, because this is one that I transferred to leca, and it does have root die-off when they have soil still on them. So like those dark roots, when you first rinse it off and you can't get the soil off no matter how hard you scrub or whatever, they'll die off in here, and that is totally normal. It does not reflect you as a plant parent. That is normal. Okay, so then I will fill it. I'll probably do that like a couple of times, especially with my alocasias that really, really need the clean rocks. Rocks, hydroton, leca, clay, pebbles, what is it called? There's like so many different names for it. In fact, on my Instagram, follow me at I'm fond of you on Instagram. On my Instagram, I'm planning on doing some more information on where to buy leca. I know that just like the other day, I posted about the difference in price, like for a 50-liter, it is a lot, like a bag this big. That went from, I believe it was like $20 or $30 at one point, and then I looked at it again, and it went to $80. So I went ahead and bought a lot of that. I will be converting most of my plants to leca. In fact, that fiddle leaf fig I really want to put in leca because it always is so thirsty, and I don't know when to water it. I use a soil meter, and it's bleh. I don't like it. Anyway, So now that I've dumped out all the water from this guy, I'm going to add my nutrient solution. This one I do every 1 or 2 weeks. It really depends on the plant. If I'm trying to initially move a plant to LECA, I will use only the Super Thrive for about 1 or 2 weeks. It really depends on the plant. I just kind of get a feel for it. You know what I'm saying? So I will use just this water, and I fill it up 1/3 of the container. Sorry, 1/3 of where the LECA goes. So I may have LECA only up to here for one plant, which means 1/3 of the container would be like down here. So, but because my container, I've filled my LECA all the way to the top of the container, I'm gonna put it about right here. So my water level should be about right here. Throughout the week, it will absorb some of the water, and then I will top it off with that Super Thrive water. Initially, with a new plant in LECA, I only do Super Thrive. This is just my personal opinion. You don't have to do it exactly the way that I do it. So yeah, I will do that for the first week or two. And then after that, I'll rinse the roots and I'll check them and make sure that it's doing okay. In fact, we'll do that for, all right, just philodendron, I'm just gonna say silver sword because I don't know how to say the scientific name. So we're gonna dump out all this water. I made a huge mess. This is why I have my office area now. My husband is so tired of me having plant stuff on the kitchen table. So I will rinse this container out. If you have a problem with algae, use a little bit of hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide is safe for plants. It actually aerates the roots. You don't want to use chlorine bleach though. That is not so healthy for your plants or for you. So I've just kind of swirled this around and spilled it and dumped it out. And then we're gonna kind of flush this guy. Let it continue draining. And then I would stick it back in and do my hydroponic solution. But because this one was a new one that I put in LECA, I am going to dump out the LECA. Hey! And check the roots! Look at that. I am so proud of that. Okay, so, and this is also a good time to reposition your plant. If you find that there's roots coming off the bottom, you might want to pull it up, dump out the LECA, and then stick it in the top. Kind of bunch the roots together and stick it in the top so that it can continue to grow down. At the point that I would repot it completely into a bigger container is when you can no longer do that, when there's no more room for roots. But I also still wouldn't let them get too root bound. So just please don't take my word as gospel for everything. I'm not a genius. I have not been doing this for years and years and years. One account that I really like, or sorry, they're not called accounts on YouTube, are they? One YouTuber I really like is Minimalist Callie. She has some really good information on LECA, and she's actually who I got a lot of my information from. Also, Not Dude, K-N-O-T Dude. He's awesome. Also, this is LGBTQIA plus month, I believe. Or sorry, Pride Month, that's what it's called. Pride Month. So he is somebody to follow. I really like him, and he has a lot of really good information. So then, let's see, we're gonna refill this. I will position it so that it sits up in the top so that this new growth, I don't know if you can see that, the new growth can see the light. And then I just kind of position the LECA so that it has something to hold it up, because these can fall over easily if you don't place them right. So just kind of make sure that it's stable in there and you're good to go. There we are. It's so happy. I love this one. I'm so excited for it to become an actual, like, real big plant. Okay, so we're gonna stick this back in here. And then I'm gonna fill it to 1/3, again, of the LECA, not the container. This container is shorter than the LECA level. So I'm gonna probably fill it about to right here. I don't know if you can see the dirty line of the water that was in it before. And I actually will run the water through the LECA balls if they're not already wet. Like when I'm topping off, I'll just kind of pour over the top and it'll go straight through to the bottom. So, you know, it's totally up to you however you want to do it. It really doesn't matter. A little bit more. about right there. There you go. There's the first one. For ones with a moss pole. I don't remember if I've said this already, but I will put the moss down into the leca so that it can wick it up. You may choose not to do that if you're afraid of mold or of, oh my gosh, I forgot the word again, fungus gnats. So you can choose not to do that. It's totally, totally up to you. So I'm gonna pour this one out. My bowl over here is getting really full of discard water. I'm just kind of rinsing and letting it go through the bottom. And while I'm here, I might even just like water the pole, I find that it just kind of like flings off of it. What is the word for that? It's like what happens on a duck's feathers. It just cascades off. But all right, so now I'm gonna add my water to this one. And because my container is much bigger than this one, where's the 1/3 line? It's probably gonna be about right here, you think? Yeah, okay. So, if you were to try LECA, or if you have been trying LECA, what is your favorite container to put your pot in? Do you put it in a nursery pot or in an orchid pot? Do you have it just in a container like I do with this one that's closed container? You know what? And then in another video, I think I'm going to show you guys how to drill holes in like terracotta, ceramic, or glass. That would be a really useful video, I think. Okay, give me a like and a comment. Tell me whether or not you think that would be a good idea for the next video. I know I don't have a lot of subscribers, but I think it would be useful, Okay, so for this Let's Learn LECA video, this episode, we have learned how to do these right here, these micronutrients for our hydroponic solutions, that's the word. We've learned to use our pH up and down and a little bit of Super Thrive. This is my routine for what I do for all my plants. Not all, sorry. All with an asterisk. Because not all plants like this stuff. It's totally okay if you lose, okay, maybe you don't want to lose like a rare plant. I would hate that. My philodendron pink princess right there. That one, this one with the 2 sticks. Yeah, that one. That one is in LECA, and I'm so afraid that it's gonna die, but it looks like it's doing fine. In fact, it put out new growth. So you just kind of gotta watch it. If you see that it's on a steep decline after you pot it in LECA, pull it out, check the roots, look and make sure that it's doing okay, because it may just decline before it inclines. You know what I'm saying? There it is again. I say you know what I'm saying a lot. Anyway, I've noticed that it is all kind of experimental at this point because there's not much information out there. So if you guys have questions about LECA, let me know and I'll put it in this this segment of Let's Learn LECA. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate your patronage. That's a weird word to say. Sounds so unsincere. But really though, I appreciate you guys watching this, and I've gotten so many comments of how you guys like my videos, and this started out as fun. In fact, it's still just for fun. I only have like 400 followers, they're called subscribers here. Which is more than I have on Instagram actually. But speaking of which, feel free to follow me on Instagram at I'm fond of you. I am also starting a rare plant shop called Rare Aroids LLC. So that will be at Rare Aroids on Instagram right now. I don't have anything available yet because everything you see behind me, those are all my rare plants or semi-rare or uncommon. Those are getting a little bit bigger so that I can share them with you later. But if you guys have suggestions on what I should do for future videos, feel free to comment at the bottom or send me a message on Instagram. If you have questions at any time, I'm always happy to answer them if I know the answer. Otherwise, I will do some hecka research for you guys to figure it out. As always, I am so grateful for you guys and happy to chat with you guys. I will see you guys next week, hopefully next Thursday. This Thursday was a little weird because the last 2 Thursdays because I've had family staying with me and my little sister just had a baby. Anyway, I'll see you guys next Thursday. Hopefully have a good one. Bye.